Hello everyone, welcome back to Bella's Big Adventures. My name's Sue, and today you find us just about to leave Winchester. We've been back here for another 3 weeks. I didn't film anything obviously because we've already done that video. The fabulous staff made us very welcome. We had a wonderful time and it is a great site. The services are amazing. We are now heading off back to the Cotswolds, but this time we're going to Burford. We haven't been there before, so once we get there I'll give you a quick look round and I'll fill you in on all the technical issues we've been having with our van. So up the A34, I'll catch up with you when we get closer to Burford. Okay, just got to go and fill the van with water, empty the waste, and then we'll be hitting the road. This is us arriving at Burford Caravan and Motorhome club site, hopefully. Ah, yes, there's the sign.
Turn right onto Foxwood Lane, then turn left.
We are here. That's not an entry, that's the exit. And there's my husband.
Arrived.
Already here. Hopefully he's checking us in. We haven't been here before. There's a lot of caravans about. Part of the Cotswolds. We're on a grass pitch this time, so we didn't have a choice really. There wasn't an awful lot left to choose from. There are pros and cons to grass or hard standing. Right, we have set up on pitch number 70. First thing you've got to say about this place, apart from their aeroplanes, because Bryce Norton's not that far away, is the Wi-Fi is shocking. The local site Wi-Fi is hit and miss. It connects and then drops and then connects and then drops. But also both of our phones are no signal whatsoever. There are quite a few trees on site, which I'll show you around in a second. It's very green and lovely site. But yeah, if you want to work here, you may struggle with the Wi-Fi. We are immediately opposite the dog walk, which runs all along this hedge here. One thing to maybe note, unlike Morton, there is no bus route past this site, so you are solely dependent on your own transport. Aeroplane taking off, probably from Bryce Norton. There are some visiting food vendors every day except Tuesday. This is the laundry room. 1 washer, 1 dryer, 2 sinks. There is a unisex toilet which is open all day. And washing up area. Nice and clean, just wash. They have a small storage area as well for caravans and motorhomes if you're in need of somewhere to store your vehicle. A nice herb get here. And a happy to chat bench to sit on, so if you want to chat to somebody. Wood-fired pizza on Saturdays, 5 till 7:15. So we've got an information centre. You can park in Burford in your motorhome. It does actually tell you how to get there, and there's lots of walks. There is apparently a really posh garden centre around here too, called the Burford Garden Company, and it's more like a big posh department store than a garden centre. So I'm going to drag Doug along there later and have a look round. I've never seen a garden centre like this. It's a house shop. I haven't even found the plants. Oh, some plant pots outside. And just across the road from here is the Cotswold Wildlife Park. You can get discounted tickets at the campsite reception. We've already heard some wildlife roaring. We're not sure whether it was lions or bears. So if you've got kids, that's something to do. There is a large playground and a small dog walk. Okay, this is the tent pitching area. They're quite big pitches and there is electricity. So they've got quite a few camping spots. There is the usual service points, chemical toilets, but there's also a bike wash and dog wash just here. That's quite an ominous cloud. The 2 monsters waiting for me to get back in. Okay. Here's Bella and the monster who's expert at getting away. Trouble, you two. Trouble, you are. Trouble, yes. Big trouble with a capital trouble. Yeah, you are. Yes, you are. If it brightens up later, we'll have a barbecue and you might get a little sausage. Right, well, one of the issues we're having is power is not working. Yeah, the first issue we had was at Winchester, and the air conditioning unit kept blowing a fuse every time we switched it on. It took us a while to get some ceramic fuses. I'll put some footage in here because Doug did manage it eventually and managed to repair it. So unfortunately, the air conditioning has stopped working. So it sometimes pays to have an engineer on site. We have done this once before. There is a ceramic fuse buried well within the unit. Once you've taken off the little vents at the side here, the screws are hidden inside there. And then the top comes off. And there's lots of cables attached. And then I believe this section here has to come out. Screws removed, we can pull that whole unit out now. And then we need another small screwdriver. Yeah, so the ceramic fuse is quite brittle, so it does sometimes crack when you're trying to ping it out. There we go. And then I've got to put it all back together again. Now we just need to turn the trip switches back on. There we go, the blue light is flashing. And it starts off quietly. So, well done, Douglas. And while he's here doing jobs, we've got a very squeaky passenger seat. So, we're just going to give it a little bit of lubrication, I think. In fact, both seats were squeaking. I think they just got dry, didn't they? Job done. Well done. What do you want behind the mesh? We're keeping the mosquitoes and the pests out, we are. Keeping the pests out. Since we got here, we plugged into the electric hookup and it wouldn't come on. Nothing had tripped. Nothing was working. So I switched on the inverter and everything works on the inverter, but not on hookup. So we told the site manager and he came along and he said there was a problem with our cable. We bought a new one from the shop, not cheap, but hey ho. Plugged that in, still nothing. So we have had a man round and he has had a look at it, mobile caravan person, and he was stumped. So at the moment I am reliant on solar power and it's pouring with rain. And if anybody knows who's got solar on their roof, you don't want cloud and you don't want rain, you really do want the sun. And so for the previous 3 or 4 weeks we've had scorching hot sunshine and now we don't. The other droning noise you can probably hear in the background is the EcoFlow. So engine on, recharging the EcoFlow and recharging the batteries in the leisure batteries in the van somewhere. But anyway, we have found a house and we are moving in next Monday, so only a few more days to go, so I'm sure we can bear it till then. And if the rain would just stop and bring me a little bit of sunshine till then, that would be perfect. Are we going to go walkies? Are we? Okay. Well, if that's picking up the roaring. it might be feeding time at the zoo. Off you go. So as I say, it runs parallel to the parking places along this hedgerow. Good girl, let's go see if we can hear the lions roaring. I'm assuming that's what it is. As I said yesterday, there is the Cotswolds Wildlife Park immediately across the road. So you do hear beasts of some description, we're not quite sure what, roaring every now and then. Not the biggest dog park in the world. Just going to go and have a little wander down and show you the playground, which is on the same side as the dog park. And they've got a massive playground and field next to it, which to me would be more use for the dogs. But then I don't have children. So as I say, big field, no children, lots of dogs. Because the playground is quite big, let me just see. There's a big climbing frame and lots of metal chains to run across, and weaves, a little Wendy house, swings for the smaller children, somewhere to sit. But that big bit of field at the back there, God, I know kids like to play football, but dogs need more than a strip to run around in. Right, and I did say I was going to tell you the benefits of, or pros and cons of hard versus grass. What do you think that noise is? Do we know? Do we think it's monkeys? It's not you anyway, you're a little monkey, aren't you? You're a little monkey. Wow. Good girl. It's got to be baboons or... I've absolutely no idea what it is. What do you think it is? I don't know, she says. How do I know? Just give me a biscuit. Historically, in the UK, we normally go for a service pitch because it supplies water, you can drain your grey waste straight into the drain, and it has power, obviously. So the downside to a hard standing pitch, as they call them, or a service pitch, which is invariably hard standing too, is you're on gravel. So if you want to stay a long time and put up an awning, like we do quite often, hammering your nails in, or even drilling your nails into the ground, even with rock pegs, can be quite hard work. So underfoot, a grass pitch is softer, it's easier to put up an awning. The downside is that sometimes it's wet. So even on a fairly dry day, the ground gets quite damp, so you do need some sort of ground cover, and they don't allow tarpaulins because that kills the grass. We've been using grass recently without any services apart from electricity. Pros of a service pitch: you've got your water, you've got your electricity, but the negative of that is you've got a hard standing normally. The pros of a grass pitch is it's softer underfoot, easier to put up an awning if you're staying any length of time, but you have the negatives of having to fetch fresh water and empty your waste. And to do that, you need a couple of pieces of equipment. We have an Aquaroll and Waste Master, and it's a bit of a faff, especially if you're not parked right next to a service point. Obviously, if you've got a small van and you haven't got an awning, you can drive to the motorhome service point and just empty your waste into the drain. But if you've put an awning up and you're here for a length of time, you don't really want to keep moving a van, especially a big van like this one. So you do need something to collect your wastewater and collect your fresh water in, and you've got to pump it into the van. So this is the Waste Master. It's something just to catch your grey waste in, and grey waste, for anyone who doesn't know, is just washing up water or shower water. It's not toilet water. And so you will do the usual thing. Your waste pipe will be somewhere under your van. Ours is just here, and you need to empty that into here. It would help if the tap didn't splatter water all over your camera. It's squirting a little bit, but basically tip it down the drain, rinse away any soapy suds and you're done. Yeah, so that is fairly straightforward. Use your base pipes if you've got them. I've got some collapsed pipes. Get it into the tank without spilling it all over the grass. That's the trick. The other thing we need to do is slightly more difficult, but not that complicated. Whatever kind of container you use, always make sure you keep them clean. There's always a little bit of water left in the bottom. So I do add a capful of Aquasol to my water tank to kill off any bacteria. So you have to stretch it, and it's quite tight, to make it into a wheelie roller. And to fill it up, I have a collapsed pipe for that too. This one is only ever used for fresh water, and it's a different colour. So that goes over the freshwater tap, that goes into this container, and you fill it up. Super simple. Unscrew the entry into your tank, pop the pipe in the tank, and turn on the tap and hope that it doesn't pop off and get you soaking wet. Okay. Once you've wheeled it back to your caravan, van, whatever, you need some way of getting it into the actual vehicle. Now, caravans and a few motorhomes, but not very many, they have an actual pump 12-volt power supply. Ours doesn't have one of those. Got to take the handles off, stand it up, and get it into there somehow. So what we did is we bought a whale pump, which is a water pump. And of course we need a power supply to it. So it comes with a cable attached with some loose wires, which normally go into your caravan. We attached a 12-volt socket to it, or Doug did to be more precise, and a piece of water pipe, which is for drinking water only. And that has to go in the aqua roll and obviously be plugged into one of your 12-volt sockets. So that's the next job. And now I need to go and put a 12-volt extension cable from the bedroom to the outside, because we don't have one. There's normally one here next to your water inlet. This part needs to go in the hole. I can now join these two together and it starts pumping. So as you can see, it's a little bit more of a faff than just plugging your hose pipe in at a tap on a service site. The other thing is this aqua roll holds 40 litres, whereas our water tank holds 180 litres. That's one of the cons to me of being on a grass pitch that's not got water. But it is just the water that's the issue. The grass itself is not a problem. It's much more comfortable underfoot. It's usually cheaper for a grass pitch, of course, to save yourself some pounds. Just one other thing, of course, which I forgot, is these things are not that heavy in terms of your payload, but you do need space to store them. And you do need to make yourself a little pump. So although I'm saying you'll save money by having a grass pitch instead of a service pitch, you will eventually save money. We are still on 58% charge, and we're getting 7.45 amps of solar from 290-watt panels. It's not that sunny today, as you've seen. 4 days off-grid. Turning the engine on for about 10 minutes each evening just to give it a little boost, and it hasn't dropped below 55 in the whole time, so I'm quite impressed with that. It's kind of done a test by accident, if nothing else. Obviously, if you were driving from one site to another or sightseeing or something, you probably drive for more than 10 minutes, so you would get more charge from your engine. As I said, we are moving house next week. We will hit the road again shortly once we've settled in, but for now I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please do give me a thumbs up and leave any comments, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.